there, guys. It's Mia here, and I am so excited. I am so excited about this live today. I wanted to do this live specifically around the topic of waiting on approval and how it's costing you. It's costing you your passion, your purpose, standing in your value. It's just costing you all the way around. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant. I've coached thousands of women over the last 26 years. And one of the things that I've supported women with is being able to package all of their years of experience, whether it's a soft skill or a hard skill, into a high valued product that they can service others with on or offline. Most don't know the value of what's in their hand, their skill, their knowledge, and really their passion. So I hear a lot of people all the time that say to me, Mia, I want to live my passion. I want to do what I love and I want to do it all the time. And the question I have is, why are you not doing it? And most often it is because passion alone isn't enough. So if you want to live your purpose, you want to do the thing that you love to do all the time, that you've been doing in your free time, that no one is paying you to do, and you just find yourself over and over again, always going deep in that thing, that's your passion. And your purpose is birthed from your passion. I know many of you know this, but the question that many people have is, how do I transition the thing that I love to do into something that's profitable? And if that's you, and if that's a question you've ever asked, then I want you to write, that's a question that I've asked. Okay, we're going to talk about that today. See, the reason is that most people don't get to live out their passion profitably in their purpose is because they are waiting on the approval of others. And I'm going to break that down for you over the next couple of minutes. I'm Mia Reggie, business and life consultant. And, my goal years ago was to go to work as myself. I was a corporate trainer by trade, decided that I was really great at what I did professionally, but I wanted to go to work for myself. I wanted to leverage and use my skills for myself. And it required some things for me. I had to find the courage to trust that what I knew was enough, that I could use and leverage what I was doing for companies, for myself. And many of you have thought this exact thing, but haven't had the oomph, right? The courage, the consistency, the persistency to stay in the game. And if that's you, you're going to love what I'm going to share with you today. As a result of running the company and coaching thousands of women over the last couple of years, 26, 2 decades, 2.5 decades. It's been my joy. I've had the opportunity to live out my purpose, for sure, and to do what I'm passionate about, and to do those things profitably, to build a coaching practice that has brought in over $10 million in revenue over the years. And that makes me really proud, right? Because I started with this idea of what I want to do, and then to be able to see that I've been able to take that business and make that business sing is what I'd love to show you how to do. Now, here are 3 things that I want you to think about. The reason that most people aren't able to run their business profitably, and they're passionate about what they want to do, is because when you think about your passion, here's the first thing I want you to think about. It's not just your passion that will make your business profitable. It literally is you thinking about the things that you're passionate about and being able to really narrow down for yourself what is the highest level result you can create for others with the things that you're passionate about. And that's a completely different question. It is an important question, though. And I think one of the things that I help my clients unwrap for themselves is, what is it that you know how to do exceptionally well? Like you can do it, like you know it like the back of your hand. And how can you do that thing for someone else and they get the exact or an exceeding result as a result of what you teach them? See, that is the thing and the only thing, the package. But the reason most people don't do that is because you've heard so many folks say, live your passion, do what you love. And it's true. But the reality is people aren't paying you just because you love something and you're passionate about it. They're paying you because of your mastery. And I have found that to be true for myself. I have many women who've come to me. Many of them are just incredible individuals in terms of the level of education, experience, world traveled, their world traveled. Their experiences are unmatched, and yet many of them have a level of confusion around how do I take my skill and my talent and my gifts, and how do I make this profitable? How do I put what I want to do into a structure that is high value? How do I market what I do so that others can see the value of what I can bring forth? How do I price to fully compensate me for the level of transformation I provide others? How do I close and sell? How do I actually have those conversations with others? And if you've ever had those questions, I can absolutely support you. Now, here's the first reason that I've seen that many people don't shine, right? And they want permission to shine. And while your purpose is likely waiting on you, is number one, that you're waiting on approval. Sometimes we're waiting on the approval of others in order for us to launch. You're waiting for someone to say, now's the time. And I see this a lot with women. And when I do strategy calls, or when our team does strategy calls, one of the common things that we see with people who are interested in our services is that someone's looking for someone to validate them before they move forward. Let me give you an example. Maybe you're doing this. I can work with someone, I'll have a conversation with someone, and they are absolutely an ideal client. I know that I can help them be more profitable, package what they do quickly, begin to monetize for $5,000 or more, and show them the way forward as it relates to that. But they cannot give themselves permission to move. And the reason for that is often because they don't have the self-belief. They don't have the belief, because they've never monetized in their business before. They don't believe that they can, in a short period of time, go from charging $150 an hour to $5,000 or $10,000 or $25,000 or $50,000 or more per client. They don't have the belief. And so because they don't have the belief, they are waiting on the approval of others, and it's costing them. So this is what it sounds like. I have to go to my husband and say, husband, what do you think? Can I move forward? And so they need permission, or they have to go to their team, which is like an illusion team, right? Like imagine that I'm running a company and I'm the leader of the team, but I have to go to the team to decide whether or not I should grow as the CEO. It's not real. And the reason you need permission is because you don't believe in yourself. And I want to call it out. You know, I'm going to call it out always, because that is exactly the reason why many people don't move forward with what will support them, because they don't have the belief. They don't have the belief that if they make investments in themselves, that they'll get a return. They don't have a belief in themselves that they can't see themselves yet as they can be. And because of it, they stay exactly where they are. You know, conversely, I see women all the time who are on the other side of that. And I want to talk about the giants that I'm able to serve. These are women who, just like anyone, when they make a decision that they want to have their first six-figure year or have their first six-figure months, the reality is that most of them start from a place of, like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I just want to stand on someone else's shoulders, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And if you don't have that mindset, it's the reason why month after month, year after year, you're in the exact same place with the same dream, the same journal, and the same conversations over and over again. What if your conversations could be different? What if instead of you talking about what you were going to do, you talk about what you did do? What if you talk about the investments that you did make? And as a result of those, what you've learned and now what you've closed. So it's a whole different mindset. And it's interesting. You can never have a high level conversation with a person that has a low level belief in themselves. And that is a quotable. Number two, today we're talking about giving yourself permission to shine, and that your purpose is simply waiting on you. There's so many people talking about, you know, what they're passionate about, and they want to live their passion and can't figure out how to monetize your passion. Well, what I found is that I look at the things that I'm really passionate at. I look at the things that my clients are really passionate at. And if I use myself, I say, I've been able to run a business, create a business out of the air, leveraging my skills and my talent as a corporate trainer, because I understood how to package licensed content, because I came from a corporate space. One second, let me drink some water. Because I came from that space, I understood how to take what you were doing and package it and sell it at a high level. And I did that for me. So the results were I did a number of strategic corporate deals right off the bat, leveraging my book and leveraging my frameworks with large brands. So, like Panera Bread, Great Harvest Bread Company, Corner Bakery Cafe, the Marriott Corporation. And I did it because I understood how to package intellect. Most people don't know how to package what they're doing to sell it for the most high valued opportunities. And as a result, they undersell and they undervalue what they're bringing to the table. They're afraid to show up fully. And I will tell you that there's a difference between wanting to build an amazing business and being able to have the belief that you, the messenger, the person who has lived this life, who has had this experience, 20 years, 30 years of experience, has the capacity to be able to evoke change in others. And the second reason that many people do not shine is because they minimize what their capacity is. And as a result, they undervalue and undercharge. And I'm going to tell you that when you undervalue what you're really delivering to the client, I say this all the time. Brilliant people that give people amazing things, they don't charge. Many times they don't charge at all. And even if they are charging, they're undervaluing or undercharging what they're bringing to the table. So what happens is that in your purpose, you can't sustain the giving because of how you're set up to begin with. The model isn't a profitable or sustainable model. So you don't get to touch the people that really need what you have. And I know that I'm calling you out because it's just flat true. Or you minimize and undervalue what you bring to the table because you actually don't know how to calculate the value. So what I see is that so many people are looking at others' websites, trying to figure out what other coaches are doing. They have likeness to them because they actually don't know how to properly value what they bring to the table, or they undervalue what they're doing because they don't know how to properly position themselves, what they've done to separate themselves so they can get directly in front of their ideal client and audience, which is a game changer. See, your ideal clients value what you bring to the table, and they're willing to make investments to learn from you because they can see that if they have the opportunity to partner with you, they'll get to where they want to be quicker, faster, sooner. And so many are struggling on the client space. Like I have people to reach out to us every single day. Why? Because they see the level of results and transformations that we create, not only decades ago, but that we can create every single week in the lives of our clients. So are you telling the full story? Undervaluing your gifts because maybe you don't even know the full transformation that you're providing the client. I see this all the time. I was just talking to a woman recently, and she was saying to me how she had an opportunity for a pitch and that the opportunity was worth multi-millions. And she says, oh, I don't need to charge anything near that because I'm not providing anything close to that, but I can help them get their results. See, in and of itself, it's an admission of not knowing how to properly structure your own value. And if you don't know how to do that, you need to work with someone that can show you how to stop the bleed. Somebody write stop the bleed. Number 3, the third thing I want to talk about that gets in the way of your permission to shine and why your purpose is waiting on you is for you to understand that what happens the moment that you're able to say yes and move. So many people don't get to shine because they just don't say yes and they don't move. You know, they stay in the exact same place. They stay in that place of maybe. They stay in that place of I need to ask someone. They stay in that place of I need to talk to my board. I need to talk to my accountant. I need to talk to my advisor. And when you stay there, you are there. But one of the things that I've seen that's very powerful, and I know this is powerful for me, I started my business. I started coaching years ago before I even was making any money. I had no idea what in the world I was going to be doing, but I knew that I was worth the investment. And many of you do not know that you're worth the investment. And as a result, you're looking for so many reasons to show you that you're not worth the investment. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let me explain it in case you don't. It looks like Oh, you see a $57 opportunity and you say, I'm worth that investment. And you know full well that whatever you're investing in for $57 or $27 is not the full solution and it's not what you need. Or you invest in something that is like a 3-day free thing and you're like, oh, I'll just glean on what to do. But you already know that there's a next step to that to learn what you really need to. And this is a tough conversation and it's not one that everybody wants to hear. But the truth of the matter is, people who are serious about investing understand that time is money and they respect themselves enough not to waste time. And if you are not having that logic, I just want to shake your shoulders a little bit and say that's one of the things that's getting in the way. It's getting in the way of being able to say yes, because people that say yes move, and people who say no, they don't move. They stay in the exact same place from year to year, and they justify their excuses. We become the sum of what we practice. So if you practice no, you live a no life. But I practice a yes life. And it's funny because when my daughter just graduated from school last weekend, and thank you so much. I know you guys are writing congratulations. And one of the things that I realized, I started my company over 26 years ago and I said yes, because I wanted to have free time to be able to see everything that my kids were doing. Hey there, Janice, right? Everything that my children were doing. And I did not want my ability to spend time with my children to be based on my ability to perform for someone else. I didn't want someone else to tell me, Mia, you can't go to the school play, or you could only choose this, or you can't be off on these times. I wanted to be that front row parent. And this is not everyone's story, but this was my story. So think about for yourself why you want to start a business to begin with. For me, I built my business for freedom. And now having gone to Alex's graduation, and she was cum laude, which I was not, by the way, when I was in college, but she's a very smart girl. And I've seen everything. And I remember when I was taking pictures of her last week at the baccalaureate, and I was looking and I was like, man, this is going to be the last time that I'm taking like school pictures of her, right? And Janice, I was like, this is the last time I'm taking pictures of her. And one of the things that really touched me was like, what you've seen it all. See, I built the business for freedom. I didn't build the business for anything that was shiny. I built it for freedom. And so the models for me mattered. I've worked from my comfort of my home before. Work from anywhere was a term. I've worked always from the comfort of my home for 26 years, which is pretty incredible. I've taught hundreds of women how to do exactly the same and how to package their intellect into a high value product on or offline, and to be able to, as a result of running that business, build it with models that have allowed me to see everything. And I want that for you. I want that for women who can believe in that for themselves. But you got to give yourself permission to even like step into that, because it's just another level of thinking, right? Who's ready to step into that next level of living, right? Of generating income. And the reason that many of us don't give ourselves permission is because, one, we haven't seen it modeled in our homes growing up. Two, most of our friends are trading time for dollars, and we don't have the social or professional circles of people who are building businesses that are time rich, and that's based on leverage. Particularly if you're a woman and you're a woman of color, most often you've heard grind, you know what I mean? You got to be twice as good. You got to work twice as hard. But is it sustainable? The reality is that true success doesn't come from that. It comes from understanding that you can build a business based on leverage using your intellect. And if you package it the right way and you market it and position yourself, the right people will come to you. And you don't even need to have like this like huge following. Like you don't need to have tens of thousands of people in order for you to hit 6 and 7 figures in your business. Facts. I want you to think about this for a minute. We're talking today about the permission to shine and how your purpose is waiting on you. Sometimes it's the limitations of what we know, what we understand, the way we've been generating income. I was just talking to someone who every single transaction this person had, they were doing it under the table, and they were doing transactions under the table. They were not fully being valued, fully being seen, couldn't really be acknowledged by the people that they've supported. And as a result, it didn't create any leverage for them in their business. And yet their permission to shine, they canceled it for themselves because they didn't know how to stand in their value or structure their business properly, package what they were doing to fully value and honor their gifts. Is that you? Sometimes it's the rookie mistakes. It's the things that we do that we're just playing business. We're not doing it at the highest levels because we just don't understand that that is something that's available to us. But I want you to know it is available to you. And if it's something you want to access, I want you to write, Mia, that's something I want to access. And if it's something you want to shift, I want you to write, Mia, that's something I want to shift, because it's only in the realization that the way you've been doing business currently and that it's not working is the thing that opens you up for a whole new way. I mean, I have a client who I've worked with, I just talked about it the other day, I've worked with for about 6 or 7 weeks. And when she and I started working together, she had an idea about what she wanted to do, but it wasn't packaged. In 6 weeks, we put together a package. We put together the sales strategy. We put together what the offer looks like. Just this past week, she had the opportunity for the very first time to pitch to her very first client. And, it was interesting watching her growth, because here's a person that went from like no product, like not a clue of really what the offer was going to be, built that over the last 6 weeks, got all the infrastructure in place, built out her sales process, and was able to start pitching her product, which I believe is 15 grand or more, right, to her clients. How cool is that? And so many people are sitting on their purpose talking about, you got to blog, you got to do your podcast, you got to do all of these things, you got to go live forever in order for you to begin to transact. And it's just not true. It's your truth because of what you know. But if you decided to partner with someone like me, I could show you that there's an easier way. There's a way to streamline your results, and so that you don't have to make this hard. See, when we give ourselves permission to shine, we stop looking for untruths and we start embracing what is true. And we start realizing, like, if I knew what to do, I would do it. You being your own advisor at times is the thing that is getting in the way of the money. Right? The money is always in the model. But if you don't know someone living that model, doing that model, if you're not in community with people who are changing all the time. I mean, I have a hairstylist who I've been working with, who we all know hairstylists like charge by the hour, right? Like $100, well, not by the hour, but by the service, $100 or $250 or whatever it is. And one of the things that she said she wanted me to help her do was spend less time behind the chair. I said, okay, absolutely. We came with a $3,600 package. I showed her how to put that together. She put it together. And what she found is that with just 20% of her business buying the $3,600 package, it covered like 60% of her business. That's just like a different level of conversation. But sometimes it goes over our heads because we are so about the grind. We are so programmed by it, attuned to it, that anything that feels like ease and grace, we don't feel like it deserves us. We don't feel like it's real, but I will tell you it is. And I hope that there is something that I've said to you today that shakes your shoulders a little bit and gets you to think differently about what you deserve. There are a couple of options if you have had interest in saying, Mia, what do you have? How can you help me? I would say great first step for anyone that's thought about working with me in any way, or if this has resonated with you in some way, is check out the Giant Experience Master Training. It's the giantexperience.com. You can go there. It's my signature training. It's run for the last 5 years. It is a boot camp, if you will, part training online and a 2-day masterclass where I answer your questions directly in an intimate setting to help you figure out what's packageable about you, your skills, your background, your gifts, your talent, how to price what it is that you do so that you stop thinking low about what you bring to the table and we start thinking high about the transformation and the value of what you bring. I show you how to market what you do to the ideal clients who are waiting for you. Where are they? How do you get in front of them? And also how to sell and how to close, because so many people are great at what they do, but they don't know on that back end that great selling is systematic. And if you don't have a systematic sales process, I'd love to help you build it in a way that's feminine. You don't have to sell in a way that feels masculine. You can be yourself. And I am totally always myself, and I close all the time. being myself. And I show my clients how to build a sales process being their selves also. So that's one option for those of you who are like, Mia, I love this conversation. Tell me more. Another option is if you're like, I need some level of a mentorship. I'm not quite sure what I need. Then I want to encourage you to book a business breakthrough call. So here's the link for you to be able to do that. I'm going to post that here. And that's miaredrick.com/business breakthrough. Okay. And that there you can book a business breakthrough session with us and me or a member of my team, and we can diagnose for you what are the best opportunities for you to begin to shine, packaging your intellect, your knowledge, and your talent. Now, here's the thing that I'm into, and let me tell you who this is for. This is for you if you know you have an ability to create results for others, but you're not sure how to package what you're doing. Now, this is for you if you are not a time waster or a time robber, because in order for you to build a business, you've got to be a person that's willing to do the work. And you got to be willing to do the work and like not curious. But like if you heard exactly what you need, you're ready to make an investment in yourself, and because you deserve it. Because those are the kind of people that I want to work with. The people who I have worked with who have created amazing results are very investment minded. They're not like curious people. You just want to hear what somebody's saying. You know what I mean? So and if you're in that place where you can see for yourself that 6-figure years or 6-figure plus months is where you're at, and you want to do this in your own business in a way that's time rich, and you want a direct method to be able to do that, and I'm absolutely for you, and the breakthrough is for you. All right. I hope that there's something that I said that makes you think differently about what you have your hands on. And as a result of this live today, which is giving yourself the permission to shine, and why your purpose is waiting on you. So many people are talking about their passion, but what they don't really understand is that it's looking at that passion and saying, what is it that I do, like the back of my hand, that if I was supporting someone else would create incredible results for them? And how can I give that to them? And then that becomes the thing that you give to the world, right? So your purpose is the gift that you give to the world, that when you give it to me, that I can use it, right? Like you're using your passion in a purposeful way that elevates someone else's life. And that's what people will pay you for what you do. It's not just because you love to do it. You've got to love to do it. And it's got to be something I need from you, that I and that solves a problem for me in incredible ways and advances me and moves my life forward. And if you don't know what that is and you need some support around identifying that thing, then we'd love to talk to you and support you. Remember, you're not waiting on the approval of others, because if you are, it's costing you. It's costing you. Listen, like who's running a business and you can't make a decision? It's not real. All right. So the reality is that, I work with people who are ready and they have the capacity to make their own decisions. All right. They're the decision maker in their business. Number 2, minimize your calling is understanding that when you do that, you undervalue. And a lot of times you're over delivering, but you're undervaluing the gifts. And it's time to change that. And most people undervalue because they just don't know the value of what they've got going on because of how you've been compensated, your salary or whatever you're getting paid by the hour. And while it may seem significant, $150 to $250 an hour, the truth of the matter is there's so much more for you. But because you don't have any models of what that can look like, that just seems, it's not even a language that you're speaking, but you need to be in conversation with people who speak a different language so you can grow, okay? And that's why not investing in that $57 or $47 solution it's not for you, because that's not the language you need to be speaking. You need to step into an investment, right, that you can't walk away from, that will make you show up so differently in your life and in your world that you'll change. All right. And, I always say a great investment is something that is a full solution for whatever it is that you want. I always say my clients can't fully compensate me for what I do for them. I just had a client who just closed a $2 million deal. I asked her, I said, how much have you paid me over the years? She said $65,000. She paid me $65,000. She closed $2 million. Okay. Think about that. All right. So you need to be able to be that person that has capacity around that and have that conversation. And I think a great investment helps you to speak a different language. And I'm into that. You need to have peers, your own ambition level and above, who do the work, all right, who model for you the things that you're not doing because you might not have that peer circle. Number three, and what happens to your life when you can say yes and move? Your whole life changes. And sure, this is not a conversation for everyone, because if you're a person that says no and you don't move, you're probably going to click off. But if you're a person that you understand that, now's the time to say yes to yourself. And it's the thing that can create absolute transformation for you in your life in incredible ways. So that's what I shared with you today. I hope that there's something that I said that absolutely supported you. If you're seeing this as a replay, or you're just chiming in at the end, remember, check out thegiantexperience.com, which I did post the link here. It's my masterclass, and it's phenomenal, if I say so myself, for serious-minded individuals who want a definite route to be able to package your intellect into a high-value product. And if you know that you want consulting of some sort and you're not sure what, then book a business breakthrough call with us, right? So, and the link is here posted, all right? It's been great speaking with you today. I hope that this supported you. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant, and it was an honor to be able to support you today. Have a great day. Are you interested in packaging your knowledge into a high-ticket product on or offline? If your answer is yes, the Giant Experience is for you. Here's my story. I got started in my business over 20 years ago, and I simply made the decision to go to work as myself. And maybe you have been wondering how you can take all of those years of experience, your knowledge, or your degrees, and put them to use for yourself, and to package it into a monetizable structure. That was me 20 years ago. I wanted to figure out how to take my background as a corporate trainer, and I realized that so many women wanted to know exactly how I was able to write best-selling books, and having done partnerships with both Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies, and get signed to media, Emmy-nominated and nationally syndicated television shows as the mom strategist. And so I decided to equally transfer what I knew how to do to them. And I built out a coaching practice that today has coached thousands of women just like you, who are ambitious, smart, and sharp, highly actionable go-getters. And they wanted to figure out how they could go to work for themselves.